I have the pleasure of interviewing my wife. But, beyond her just being my wife, she is actually a rock star in the business world. I know if you're in the Carolina area and probably abroad too, you have heard of Dr. Dawn Nicole in some fashion or another. With the ProcuraFind brand, she is making waves with her community, helping small business owners across the board. I'm talking about across the board. We're talking about from the top of the country to the bottom, connect with corporate contracts. But today we're going to be talking a little bit techish because she has a very unique platform that is very much techish. And we're back and we're back and we're back. Now, I told you that this was going to be kind of a special episode. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my wife and the CEO of ProcuraFind, Miss Dr. Dawn Nicole McIlwain. How are you doing today,
Hey,
dear?
I am amazing. It is so good to be back on Talking Techish. Do you know it's been like 2 years, I think, since we
Has it been that long?
been a little bit. So I'm listen, I'm glad you gotta be someone special to get on Talking Techish. So I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling good. I made it back.
You know what's amazing about that is that, and you know me, I do this type of thing. So when
Yeah.
I say it, you're going to say, oh, yeah, I know you did it. Talking Techish, we started this a couple of years ago, bringing people on, talking about technology and AI and things of that nature. And I
Yep.
was going through some of those old interviews and I realized that they were exactly old. Technology has changed so much to where I actually, I didn't delete them, but I hid
Yeah.
them from the YouTube community so they
I
can't even go
noticed.
back. Yes.
I noticed I didn't see them, and I wasn't gonna take it personal because knowing you, my love, I was like, "Okay, he done moved these around, he has a new topic, so I trust you and I trust the process, so no worries."
Yes, it's simply because, so much has changed since we had those previous conversations that I was
Yeah.
just like, should I just keep these up just for historical value? Or should I just go all in like I do? I delete
Ye
stuff year over year
yeah.
in a way.
He
So,
does just so y'all know, he does have a habit where, you purge things, honey. Like, after a year or 2 years, you are the perfect example of a person who you don't hold on to things long if they don't bring you value.
ooh, that's a
That
good one.
part,
That's a good one. That's why we're
that
gonna
part.
have a great time talking today. But I want you to just take a moment and just let everybody know who you are, just in case,
Yeah,
by
just in
chance, they
case.
don't know the Dr.
They
Don
will.
Nicole like I do.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm Dr. Dawn Nicole McIlwain, the lovely wife to this handsome man right here. But I'm also a mom, a grandmother. I like to put those first, right? Because I feel like there's what you do and then there's who you are. So I like to start like with who I am, wife, grandmother, right? All the things, family person, theater person. A lot of people don't know I'm a theater person. I'm a creative. And then in my waking life, day to day, I happen to be skilled and gifted at business. So I am a multi-published author in the business space, CEO, TEDx speaker, right? I come from a globally accredited training background in the agile space. And I would say today I have the honor and pleasure to lead one of the fastest growing supplier communities for small businesses looking to get connected to corporate contracts. I bring corporations who have contracts together with small businesses who want them. And that's what we do in a nutshell.
Well, I don't know if that was a nutshell because, I started to take out my pad and like, okay, check,
For
check.
sure.
Oh, check, check, check.
Yeah,
That's a long list of things.
it is. It
At
is.
the end of the day, that just makes me just want to ask a quick question on how do you manage multiple titles like you are doing
You
so
know what?
well?
I love that you asked that question because I think I'm centered. I think what I do is instead of seeing them as multiple titles, I see them as all of who Dawn Nicole is. I am like all of them, right? Like I heard this term that we are not monolithic people, like one dimensional, but we are multidimensional. And society tries to put us in these boxes and tries to give us these categories and these labels. And once you realize that you are all of the things that make you you, like I happen to be a businesswoman, but the reason why I can be a great businesswoman is because I'm a great creative. I'm creative first, right? I was creative before I was a businesswoman. And that's still who I am and how I run my business. And with being creative. You can't be creative and you can't be in business without at some point giving a talk. Well, now I'm a TEDx speaker because I'm going to talk anyway and I'm going to write books anyway and I'm a thought leader. So I really don't see them as like all these pieces and these hats to be managed, right? If anything, I see them as components of my being that I lean into in order to show up purposefully every day.
You know what? I'm gonna have to rewind. That was great. Thank you for sharing it. But I'm gonna have to rewind because you said a word
Yeah, yeah.
inside of that. What was that word? Mona Lisa?
Yeah,
Mona Lisa?
no, it was monolithic, and you know where I first heard it from in world history, like, real fast, not trying to plug world history, but they used to use that word to describe, like, how many gods you could worship at a time.
Mm.
And so monolithic was, associated with, like, serving one of something, like one deity, one god, and then so it's the difference between being tied to one thing, and we are not one-dimensional monolithic people versus multiple things.
That is crazy.
I know. I
I,
mean,
I'm and I'm actually, as I'm talking to you, I'm just repeating the word like 3, 4 times inside of my head
yeah,
because I will never just
probably
in
use
just
that.
common conversation that word will never pop up. But every time I have someone on Talking Techish, they introduce me to just that little thing that I get to add into my repertoire.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure I bring in that word because I believe I could fit inside of that
Oh,
category
you
as well.
do. You listen, so if y'all so I'm not trying to steal the show, but you and I, we are that's why we gel, babe. That's why we are very similar. When I met you, one of the things I loved about you is I was like, "Oh my gosh, I finally met a person who is also multidimensional." You know what I mean? You have all these layers to you, and so that word fits perfectly. Yeah, in your vernacular.
Oh my goodness! See, there you go, bringing in another word. Now I can't take on but so many words
No,
at
there's
one
so many.
time. That was deep. I'm vernacularing my Mona Lisa. Okay, yes, we
Yeah,
we are good now. We're good.
we
Well,
good.
like I say, thank you for sharing just your backdrop. I want
Yeah.
to dig a little bit deeper into what we now call ProcuraFind, which
Yeah.
started off as Queen City Women in Business.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's take it back from the beginning, how it kind of came to be, and actually, what is it?
You know what? I know this is what I love about Talking Techish because you ask me questions that no one ever asked, and you give me the stage and an opportunity to explain things that I've pondered on, and even things that I've changed my mind about, right?
Mm.
So I'm gonna share something that nobody knows, right?
Oh,
Like,
do tell, do
yeah,
tell.
this is the juice, guys. Lean in here. So I was thinking about this myself. Queen City Women in Business, which was supposed to start off as a platform that connects small businesses to corporate contracts. And really different name, same mission. We still do that today. But I'm gonna tell you recently, I was even asking myself when I started this company 3 years ago, what was I thinking that made me name it Queen City Women in Business? Like I was really thinking, why that name then? Because no one's ever asked me that. And I think at the time, we were living close to the Queen City, which is Charlotte. So if you don't know, right, they call Charlotte the Queen City, but they also call other places the Queen City. I think someone told me like in Ohio or somewhere, there's another Queen City, right? Anyway, I digress. I think this was a symptom of my people pleasing. And let me explain what I mean. When I started this company, I remember thinking, I want the city of Charlotte to recognize me. I want them to see me. So I'm going to do them a solid before they ever ask. And I'm going to name my company Queen City Women in Business. And when I think back to why I named the company that, I think I was giving them a nod that now I realize they didn't deserve. And this is why you got to be careful about giving things to people that they don't ask for, right? Just to be invited to spaces that you probably won't be invited to anyway. Like, I think we tend to, like, make passes and pardons, and we do these grand gestures in hopes that something in our mind, right? The expectation that nobody knows but us in our mind will happen, and it doesn't happen. And so my whole point is I feel so silly when I think about it now, right? 3 years ago, I was thinking very localized at first. I did not realize this would be a national company. And I thought, oh, what a great way to honor the city of Charlotte. I'm going to name this whole company Queen City Women in Business. And we're going to focus on the Queen City's business owners, the women, and we're going to do great things. And it never came back to reward me. It didn't end up being rewarding. I didn't get further because of it. If anything, I got farther away from the opportunities. And see, I never talk about this. That's why I was like, this is interesting because only recently I came like you know me, I'm a processor. I like to look back in retrospect, right? And I was thinking about this, and that is sort of the driver of how the name changed. We didn't really talk about it, but the name change was really on time, and I'll tell you why. DEI was starting to roll back. Now, let me say this. We weren't a DEI thing anyway. Let me just right. I didn't start off saying, "Oh, I'm going to tackle DEI and diversity." What I did start off saying is, I'm going to start with women businesses first, and then I'm going to go find the military, and then right. So I was thinking about these connection points with small businesses in sectors or waves, but it wasn't like DEI driven. But it just so happened that when I started this company and named it Queen City Women in Business, and it was for women only, well, this came right at the intersection of the DEI, right, debacle, the rollback. And now companies I was going after were like, well, we can't even do anything with you because your name has the word women in it, Queen City Women. Now, granted, it wasn't serving me anyway. That's the thing. It wasn't even serving me for the original purpose, but now it was hurting me. Are you get like it was crazy. It was so now I put myself in this double whammy situation trying to people please my way into spaces that didn't serve me anyway. That's why we have to be careful when we do these grand gestures that nobody asked for because only we get hurt, only we get disappointed. You know what I mean? It was such a powerful lesson. Long story short, I'll wrap up and say this, dear, is that right around that time when I recognized it was starting to hurt me, I was potentially losing business. I thought right away, I got to change this name. It's not serving me anyway. It feels very alienating to men because at this time I was even coming to you saying men are asking, why can't we get in? We need help too. And I didn't really have a good answer. So we changed the name to ProcuraFind even before we had to. And even that's a whole topic. I won't steal the thunder, but yeah. So that's how it started. But that's the lesson I've learned since, and I don't get to talk about. So I'm glad on this platform first, y'all heard it first, that retrospective of growth and realizing where I made a mistake early on.
You know, I
I know
the
so much.
reason yes, but you know what's crazy is like with this Talking Techish, the name of this podcast is Talking Techish.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is tech-ish,
Mhm.
meaning that it's not just about tech.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it's you know, I try to have people on that have something that aligns with something technical,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't necessarily just hover over just a whole techie world of it. And
Mhm.
I'm saying that because I'm going to say a statement
Yeah.
that I just think needs to be said. First, I want to go back.
Yeah, please.
Queen City Women in Business. You created it for women. You are a woman. The rollback happens and people don't want to do business or fear doing business with you because of the word women inside of the name. You know, even when that happened during that time frame, I still, even to this day, don't understand the aspect of a privately held company who's have a mission or passion or whatever that driver may be to work with a subset of people because of their own reasons, because there is a deficit when it comes to women in business into the marketplace as well as in job roles and things of that nature. I get it, but I just wanted to just put that out there that has always bothered me ever since of what is so-called the rollback.
Yeah.
If I wanna work with one-legged men,
Then that's your prerogative, right?
that
Like,
I want to
be
work
able
with
to
one-legged men. That's just, I get along with them. We all hop around. One of them got a left leg, I got a right leg, we hop around, we are cool. And
right.
I'm not knocking on people that's got one leg. Don't come
No,
for
no,
me.
I
What
don't.
I'm saying is if I pick a target market to work with and I find I can provide value to that market.
Yeah.
I don't understand in the corporate sector why that is a mark against me.
You know what? I wanna new this is really and I appreciate Talking Techish because I feel like Talking Techish is at the intersection of tech, business, ideology, thought, right? So all these things are relevant to this conversation. I would say I'm with you when and this needs to be like unpeeled a little bit, the layer here of the onion, because you will have people who will say, "Well, I have a privately held company. I don't have to adhere." That's you. I own my own company. We're not publicly traded. I'm the CEO. I foot the bill, the budget, woo, 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 woo. I can do what I want, right? And to some degree, that is absolutely the case. I think the challenge and the question comes in where when you start to interface with other companies that are publicly traded, where they understand that if they partner with you, this is an extension of their brand reputation and what will other people say about their partner. And we see this all the time, right? We see it where there are two companies in partnership and one of the companies does something absolutely astronomically crazy over the weekend, right? Like they put something on social media that feels like a racial slur and now the other partner has to do this damage control and separate themselves. I think we saw this with like it wasn't racial, but we saw this with, like, OpenAI and Samsung, right? We see this all the time in these partnerships where someone is doing something unethical or questionable, and it causes brand reputational harm to the other. And so I think for me, where I started to see the challenge is I was fine until I started asking for money, right, from these bigger brands. And when I say ask for money, guys, let me just be clear. The membership, in order to be a corporate member, costs money. There's an investment. So they were saying, okay, well, if we use your service, Dawn Nicole, of you being a supplier sourcing partner, right? Then we can't turn around and say, Queen City Women in Business, who's only going to go get us women. That's not going to work. We're going to need you to get women and men in black or white or veteran or whatever, right? And you can't coin it. And that's where I started to find the challenge is that I was fine as long as I was doing my own thing and pushing my own agenda down the block. But the moment I wanted their funding, now they had to answer to a higher power. And that's where the question became questionable.
Yes, and that makes sense, and I just wanted to even and I appreciate you kind of throwing that out there, especially since you work with a lot of small businesses. I realize that the challenge of today,
Yeah.
many small businesses who have been in these niche markets
Mhm.
are probably facing some pushback, and I guarantee
Yeah.
that many of them don't even know why because maybe they have been doing this for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've been working with this subset of people or organizations for years.
Mhm.
And now all of a sudden the contracts are falling off or they not getting that grant funding or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be.
That's
And
real.
and and they probably don't know because and I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that you may get a response if you submit for something. They may highlight the fact of why they can't work with you. I believe I heard that from
Yeah.
one of my friends that deals with grants and stuff. When he was going
Mhm.
for a grant, he got a pushback on because he serves a minority company or a
Yeah.
minority group of people,
Y yeah,
and they targeted in on that particular word when and it I don't know, man. I get it. The one thing
yeah.
is, if y'all watching me on the show, y'all know I'm always scratching my head because I have come to the realization that I think too much. I really come to that realization, but it's only because I'm getting older now and I pay attention
Yeah.
more
You have
now.
to. You have to.
And,
And it's
and
a
I'm
good
looking
thing.
at and I'm looking at how we are in a society as business owners, how
Yeah.
we have to continuously navigate the landscape of what political parties are doing,
Mhm.
what the state of the country,
Yeah.
things of this nature. And one thing I would tell you, Dr. Dunco, um, forgive me, I go back here and I jump over here,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
all makes sense in the middle. In the
You
middle,
know I know.
yes, yes, yes. And y'all see, I did address her, Dr. Don Nicole, because hey, I'm respecting my wife as a CEO of
Thank
her
you.
corporation, and when we cut these cameras off is I need something to eat. I know she gonna get it to me as my
The
wifey,
wife.
which I
See
call
that?
dearie. But
Yes, sir.
but let's talk about today's climate
Yeah.
because what I'm seeing, and I watch a lot of news. I'm
Mhm.
seeing the decline per se
Yeah.
in opportunities for not just business owners, even for people in workforce. The decline for opportunities because of technological advances, the
Mhm.
war,
Yeah.
so many different things. What, if anything, are you
Mhm.
seeing with inside of your own community of small business owners? Are they being vocal about lack of a better word, the lack of things that's happening for them in this season versus
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
the other season?
You
Could
know
you share
what?
that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on. So let me just say a couple of things, right? There's let's unpack. You know, I'm like the queen of let's unpack. Um, First of all, let's call a thing a thing. Let's talk about the current state we're in. So current state number 1, right, is you have AI happening, okay?
Mhm.
And if you thought that you were going to be a business owner and you were going to point to AI and say, "Oh, that's a workforce problem. I own a business. That's their problem. People with jobs are being fired. Oh my, oh me, oh my, not affecting me because I'm self-made, I'm a business owner." It's impacting you too. Okay? So don't be fooled just because the news is talking about AI's impact on the workforce and that's what they're choosing to focus on. Don't be fooled and think that this isn't also impacting the small business owner. It's impacting them as well. It's just not being covered. Okay.
Mm.
And you have to think, so that's the first thing. And we're gonna go back to because I want to come back to that. But I'm just unpacking right now. And then we're gonna land back on that one. Okay. That's
Oh, that's
you
how I
follow.
fly. You
I
good, you
know.
good.
Okay. Okay. So let's unpack. So that's unpack number 1. Then you have unpack number 2. You have the tariffs happening. So now this is a business owner problem because now so number 2 directly impacts my business owners. Okay. Tariffs means that there's new taxes and new fees on products and some services that you might pay a tax on, right?
Mhm.
So there are businesses who directly have been put out of business since the tariff war started. Let's be very clear. If I relied on heavy inventory from the Philippines, from China, right, where I was exporting from outside of the US, and now my prices and my costs doubled seemingly overnight, and I'm only able to raise my prices so much for my customers before they say, "Get lost, too bad, so sad." Right? Not so I know a handful of businesses who were 100% reliant on export to in order to produce their products and services, and now they are out of business. So there are a hand now it may not be being covered to the same rate, but you have that going on, okay? Then you have thirdly, third unpack, y'all follow, stay with me. Third unpack is the war. Well, the war is impacting gas prices. So think about all the businesses. If I'm in logistics, if I'm in long hauling, short hauling, trucking, delivery services, I'm impacted. The same jobs, I've got to pay 3 times the gas and I'm not able to raise my price. My margins aren't great. I'm actually losing money every time I do a job now. These are real impacts, right? So we're up against the AI piece, which we're going to come back to and land on. We've got tariffs and trade wars happening that are, what I would say volatile. They're good today, bad tomorrow, changing overnight on TikTok, right? Explained on TikTok and Twitter or X, right? And
Mhm.
then you have the war. And then the fourth thing, number 4, yeah, there's one more, y'all. Cause I know you like, what else? And by the way, all of these impacts, right, lead to economic impacts, the cost of my groceries, the cost of the building I'm paying for, the cost of like everything goes up. Everything is impacted economically. But here's impact number 4, the war on immigration. How many
Oh,
construction
yes,
companies, you see
yes.
what I'm saying? How many
Yeah.
construction companies were reliant on labor, immigrant labor, right? How how many people, you may have, construction companies, developers, farmers, right? So there are multi-layered impacts that are adversely impacting businesses right now. And if you are in one of those trades where you're in logistics, where you rely on oil and gas, you're in construction where you were heavily reliant on trade partners who might make up from the immigrant community, right? You are in food, right? In where you have food pantries or pizza and you needed sauces to come from Italy and canned goods, like it's a real thing, right? If you were a small vendor and you relied on shirts from the Philippines, you're hurting right now. Oh, and we're not even going to talk about the AI piece. Oh, and if you're failing to innovate amidst all of that, you're hurting right now. So not only is it hard to keep your business open, it's hard to stay alive. It's hard to feed the family.
Man, let me tell you something. I just heard a big explosion when you was talking. It just went boom in my mind.
Yeah.
It was just like, man, and I do want to put this little plug because I was just looking at the news and right down the street, Waxhaw, North Carolina,
Mhm.
they just had a big, large No Kings protest.
I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're doing the protest, so therefore, ice in there. I didn't know. I didn't read too much into it because it's like you were just talking about all of these different things. So when
Yeah.
you compile all of these things inside of your mind, it is like boom. That's why I say I felt like an explosion
Yeah.
because not only as a small business owner, innovation top of mind right now. Innovation. If you're not innovating
Hmm.
with these new AI technologies, I'm seeing the rapid like disruption. I'm talking about it's so rapid to where people can create they can go to your website,
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what you're doing.
ProcuraFind.com.
Yes, but not in this sense right here what I'm about to say. So,
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm saying they can go to your website,
Mhm.
peep around a couple of little things, throw it in something, some tool, and duplicate, and then add in a more robust automation
That's right. Don't do that to my
process.
website. Take
Yeah,
it
yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. That's why I was retracting what you were saying there. I
Bring 'em
get you. I
back.
get you. I get you. We can throw the name out there, but at the same time,
Yeah, you're
the
right.
the ab-
You're right.
the ability to do that
Yeah.
so quickly and
Mm.
gain market share
Mhm.
is serious right now. I'm watching all the tech news, and man, sometimes I have to just stop watching
Yeah.
because there's a better widget for the widget that was the better widget just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
That's
they are
true.
cracking they are cracking up things. Soon as I get interested into something, I'll be like, "Ooh, I like that." I get it. A little while later, I get an email on this new thing that
Yeah.
incorporates the thing that I just purchased
Someone
that's
else.
better. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there
Yeah.
like, "Oh my goodness, how do we combat this as a small business? How do you do it?" So now you're either spending more money into your marketing campaigns or
Yeah.
you're trying to create a better process with the scenarios to keep up. It is so competitive now in the marketplace because of
Everyone.
innovation.
Yeah, well, innovation and everybody's in survival mode, right? So people
Yes.
who don't mind, who wouldn't have mind lifting a website in the past, like everyone is doing whatever it takes to survive now. If that means an AI plugin that can steal everything and like people don't, you're seeing people stoop to, I don't want to say a different low, but people are breaking boundaries that they once were unwilling to break. That is the world. Because I just listed four things of opposition, right? That we're going through. This is making people hungry and driven and thirsty in an entirely new way. And can I talk about the AI piece for a minute? You brought that up as far as like, so you are 100% right, right? Even though there's so much, like I'm having a traffic jam. There's so much I want to say, but I'm gonna focus. We're on talking techish, so I'm gonna focus on the AI piece for a second. I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know all things, right? But I know one thing. I know that amidst this turbulence, amidst this challenge, amidst everything going on, I have to just give God the glory and say, I'm thankful that we're still winning. ProcuraFind is still winning. Hey, Skilldora is winning. But you know why? I want you to take away the most important part of my statement in that we're winning because we're continuing to innovate. Because I promise you, what you were doing last year and what you were doing the year before is not going to cut it this year. If you are not innovating, if you are not constantly changing, if you are not constantly erasing that whiteboard, whatever you had up there a year ago, whatever's in those corners or, hard coded, you got to wipe it off and start again because those same strategies, we got a different playbook, my friend, right? And so I think asking yourself the right question this year, it's not just what is the AI tool I can learn to save myself? It is what is the AI tool I can learn, tools, plural, I can learn, get good at, and serve and support someone else because the he or the she that figures out not just how to use the tool, but how to use the tool to help to then turn around and be helpful and help the other company wins. It is no longer just survival of the fittest for you. It is survival of the fittest for the companies who are trying to survive.
Oh, you said a mouthful there. I'm talking about like you said so much because as I'm in this space every day, all
Mhm.
day long.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah.
We like I always tell, and I tell everybody, and I know they get tired of me saying it, but we was talking about this when everybody else was talking about Bitcoin. We
Yeah.
launched in 2022, really at the end of 2021,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about AI.
Mhm.
And to think here in 2026, I feel myself like I'm so behind. Like
Yeah.
I'm constantly thinking like what can we implement? What can we do? How can we pivot? Because
Yeah.
the things that made us famous back then, they're making us famous today.
Right.
What can we continuously do? While you were talking, I was looking off to my other screen here. And as everybody knows, I have a Claude window up. I have my Ethan up at all
Yeah.
times. Every time I cut on my Ethan,
Uh-huh.
I look and it says update. Click here to relaunch.
I just did that too. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. With
And I was
Claude.
sitting, yeah, and I was sitting there like, what you mean relaunch the update? I just updated.
They're constantly upgrading that thing.
They are
Yeah.
constantly updating. So
Yeah.
that is a serious thing. But let's go back into what we're talking about with the small businesses and the innovation and immigration and tariffs and
It's so
all of
much,
these
right?
things
Yeah.
because I do like to feel like we can't save them all, but I do like to feel like we can talk about a few things that may help them just move the needle.
Yeah.
I wanted to say advance right there, but I really just say move the needle. Every little
Yeah.
inch counts. So, and being that you are really talking with small business owners collectively as well
Mhm.
as individually,
Mhm.
what are you seeing any things noticeably different about the businesses that inside of your community this year versus like last year?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. There's a couple of things. So, and then my mind is going to we'll come back to like sustainability is a word I want to talk about too, like keeping things going even when we're in our most challenging moments in this economy. But we'll put that over there. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So there's two things that I want to say that I'm witnessing happen, okay? It is becoming harder to make money as a business owner. And I'm seeing it because I'm seeing people who got a membership last year who are now starting to feel the stiffness and they're saying, well, I'm not making any money now, and that's because they're not doing new things, right? That's why you guys, you can't do an old thing in a new society. You understand what I'm saying? When the playbook changes, we must change with it, right? The strategies must change with it. In your failure to pivot and to see it for what it is gonna keep you down. It's gonna keep you stuck. And you will say, "Well, no one's buying," because they ain't buying. They're not buying because you're thinking that just by showing up, that's enough. And my friends, it's not enough. You have to learn a new set of tools. You just do. And let me just say this, right? Because this is where I think I don't know why this gets misconstrued for business owners, but when we worked in corporate, so those of us who worked a job, and you were in the army, so this is going to be true for you too, regardless of what sector you worked in, whether it was the private sector, that means you were in corporate, or whether you were in the public sector, federal government, DOD, you work for the Department of Defense, that's public, okay, public sector. One thing holds true: when you were the property of someone else, and that just means you were an employee, it was your boss's job to ensure that you had a set of tools to do the job. Okay. You learned how to, like for us, so we learned, someone invested in us to learn PowerPoint and MS Suite of tools at the time, right? And I learned HP for project management when I was going down the project management path. And when I was doing Agile, I learned Agile. And when I was in regulatory compliance, someone paid for my classes for me to get FFIEC certified. And it's going too deep. But so when you're a business owner, you are responsible for that investment in yourself. In
Okay,
it,
okay, 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 okay. I I
you know
felt
where I'm going with
I
this.
I did at first, I was following you, I was really following you, and I was like, "Okay, we going down the street," and then you took a quick left, and the tire said, "Skirt," and
Yeah.
I was like, I I I I probably, even though I know this, I I just didn't put it together like that. So continue,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, because they need it, and this is where it gets lost on people. So, I don't know what makes people then, if that was required in order to do the job that you did, and it was that business owner's, if you will, job to invest in the employee, move over here. Now you own your own business, which makes you employee number 1. Your failure to invest in you means the company's gonna die. Because whose job is it to invest? It's your job. But when you look at a business owner in the eyes and you say, listen to me, invest in AI tools, get a suite of tools, right? Learn those tools, right? And listen, I just want to tell you, I learned on the way to church today. I was driving safely, but I was listening on YouTube to how to run ads using AI, mega AI, right? Right. I'm always learning and listening because whether I think I can afford it or not, and you can and you must, because now you're the business owner. It's your job to invest in your employees, starting with you. So if you are going to complain and say, well, I ain't got the money, I'm not going to do it till I make money. That's like saying, I don't need a tutor until I start making A's. You need a tutor to make the A's. But you can't, so in this thinking, this new world that's moving fast, that's way more competitive, that requires sustainability. It requires insight like we've never seen before. You have a segment of business owners who just they got a gimme, gimme, gimme attitude without giving, giving, giving. And it starts with giving into yourself first to show up better, to be better, so that you can serve and support people at the highest level. And that unwillingness to do it is what has them stuck.
Oh, that was powerful. That was a bang. Because you know what? You are right. You are the business owner. You are the CEO. Even if you are one person operation, you consider yourself the first employee as well. So you have to invest into to learn the things
Yeah.
of. But I'm gonna throw another thing out here in lieu of investment in today's climate, because I'm a
Mhm.
fan of this too. Either you have the money to invest into the things to get you further faster,
Mhm.
or you're just gonna have to 10x in time. What I mean by that is that you're gonna have to watch a lot of YouTube videos, read a lot of documents to figure this thing out yourself.
Yeah.
Either way it go, of course, people who have the budget, they can move further faster. The people who don't, they
Yeah.
can still be on the same playing field. It's just gonna require a little bit more time. Guess what? You can't go to the cookout Saturday. I'm sorry. Saturday is
Yes.
training day.
Yes.
Saturday is training day. You gotta wake up in the morning and start with your notebook, whatever your coffee, your beverage, whatever you do, and you gotta start studying. And if you're anything like me, you go through it all, then you rewind it, you go back through it again. I say
Mhm.
this a lot to people that speak with me, and they feel like I know a lot.
You
inside
do.
of this
No, he
space. Yes,
knows a lot about everything. You know a little bit about so many things, it's insane. Like, you
but
just yeah.
yes, and I appreciate that. But I'm giving you the secret, and I tell people this
Yeah,
publicly. I consume everything that I know. I consume it. I eat it. I stay up late.
you do.
I go in 2 or 3 hours late at night. Or I might have it playing in my ear while I'm doing something else. I'm consuming this space that I am in because I
Yeah,
want to stay competitive,
yeah.
and I want to have a viable product or service offering inside the market that we are operating in. And
Mm,
I will say this, and I'll shut up on this part, but we used to watch Myron Golden.
yeah,
And
religiously. Yeah.
yes, Myron Golden, I'm a fan of Myron Golden, but he did one episode that was talking about the people who became millionaires and billionaires simply because they was offering the thing inside of the age of time that we're in.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
we was in when we was in the agricultural age, of
Mhm.
course, farming was the thing. If you had some
Yeah,
acres and you could produce some crops, oh, you was winning.
yeah,
You get the point. So I'm going to fast forward to we are in the digital artificial intelligence age.
yeah.
That's where
Yep.
we're at. So if you are not consuming this and figuring out how does this incorporate it into your business model, your process and procedures, whether it's internal or external,
Mhm.
you are probably going to be having a money problem. If not today, it's coming. I'm sorry, it's coming.
And you know what I love that you said too, that I think needs to be said more often? I think because people don't think about it like this, but when people say, "What will this cost me?" Right? Because now we're talking about the investment of getting the
Mhm.
tools, the skills that you need to be competitive. It will either cost you X amount of money or X amount of time. Both are a cost. And you gotta be
Yes.
willing to pay something. So when people say, "Well, I don't have the money," but baby, you got time. Which one
Yes.
right? You've got time. And so I have as a founder, getting back to, like, how I'm dealing with the members who might be saying, "Hey, I'm not growing, I'm not advancing, and I don't have the money to" right, XYZ. Then to your point, I say, "Well, then it's gonna cost you some time." You know, the money allows you to get it faster, more instantaneously, if you will, right? You could get a course, maybe take that course in 5 days in a test or maybe, right? But if you're not gonna pay for somebody's course, then you're gonna invest in YouTube's a number of hours, maybe 25 hours, 30 hours, but you gotta be willing to pay something. You can't be
Yes.
willing to invest nothing and want something, to
Well,
your point.
I told a person this the other day, and I
Yeah.
like using analogies, even if some of them are silly.
No,
Um,
they're all good, babe.
I said, it's pollen season.
Uh-huh.
Your car gets dirty a lot.
Mhm.
Either you invest in a subscription service at a particular car wash that you can go through, like I have,
Yeah,
or you're gonna have to get out there every day and wash and wipe down your car.
that's good. Yes, that's true.
Me, I'm just driving. I run through the car wash. I'm out on the other side. It blows it off. It dries it. I pull back on the street. My car's shiny and clean. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Took a couple of minutes. If I had to get out there and wash it, I got to fill up the bucket with water, soap, and I got to wash it. I got to do a whole bunch of manual things, and it's going to take me longer because guess
Mhm.
what? After I finish, I'm probably going to be looking at a car that still got pollen on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I'm investing time into the manual process, I'm going to have to continuously do it
Yeah.
in order to compete with the people who have the money to do the
Ooh,
automated process.
that's so good. That is so good. Is seeing it that way, is and saying, "And if I want it bad enough, I'm willing to do that," right? Like, understanding, "Well, that's not me, I can't invest, monetary value right now, but I'm willing to give and invest time value," and it's a sacrifice, but you
Mhm.
gotta be willing to invest something to get something. Yeah, that's so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, now I want to take a little switch here because let's talk about ProcureFind a little bit here.
Yeah.
ProcureFind is a very unique platform. And
Yeah.
as well as, matter of fact, before we even talk about ProcureFind, let's talk about Dr. Don Nicole.
Oh,
because I know you're transitioning into utilizing AI tools, especially you sitting up under my umbrellas.
I have
Um,
to, y'all.
you are a person who gets connected to a thing, and you master the use of it, and you have been going through some changes and pivoting in the process and the tools you use, and even
Yeah.
your computer system. Let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
let's
that
talk.
mindset.
So first of all, you cannot be married to the great doc here, to Dr. DeMario McIlwain, who is all things tech, all things AI, and not think that you're going to be upgraded against your will. You will be upgraded even if you don't
Yes.
ask for it. Because what you do is, this is what my husband does, y'all. He will buy subscriptions and apps. He will try them first. And if he loves them, he will come over in my office and be like, you need to try this. You're going to thank me later. I'm going to change your whole life. And I'm like, okay, well, what is this one? Right. So you have been, so first the apps, right? Which are the everyday usage of things from, social media posting apps, everything that I use that is next level. I have you to thank for that. Well, one day my husband decides that he's going to become a bona fide Mac user. And to be clear, he was already a Mac user for the last, I think you're going on 2 years, a year or 2 years
Yes.
of using a Mac. But he discovered this great thing called the Mac Mini, and it changed his life. It is efficient, it's smaller on the desk, right? It's compact, it's cute. I mean, I would show a picture, but so he comes to my office and he's like, hey, I'm using this thing and you're getting ready to change over. And I was like, and this happens a lot. And I'm like, nothing is wrong with my stuff. Like I get voluntold if there's a
Yes,
better,
he
more
was on
efficient.
PC, I would like PC,
Yeah,
yes. Yes.
and that was fine with my dinosaur the funny thing about DeMario's work, Dr. DeMario versus my work is that because he is techie, I'm kind of a like enough to be dangerous. Like I'm like, okay, I'm and that's, by the way, we didn't even talk about why you hate doing training classes and watching videos with me because we learn very different. You heard DeMario say earlier that he likes to watch his video all the way through. But I keep pausing and stopping and I want commentary. Did you hear that? Take it back.
Yes,
Let me take a picture. Let me go get my laptop and try it. He hates it. When we
yes,
first learned we had different learning styles, he's like, oh my God. So now you do train by yourself. We still invest in our training journeys, y'all, but he trains after hours without me and
and
then we come back later.
I share the link, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he'll share the link.
The
He is
link.
not sitting with me during a drink, okay? But anyway, he comes to my office and he's like, "Hey, this dinosaur of a computer that you are using that has a crack down the middle, remember it has a like a hair fracture line in the middle of the screen."
Yes.
So, he just upgraded my life. I didn't ask for it, but I'm glad he did, and let me just talk about the transition for can I just talk about the transition real fast from a Windows-based system to a Mac and how I
Uh,
thought. Yeah.
yes, and I just wanna just tag in your dinosaur system because I bought that for you. That was a
See,
$1,200 laptop.
it was
And
nice.
it's nice, but, my wife,
I'm hard.
she would
I'm
give technology hell now.
I'm
She'll
hard on things, y'all.
hey, but anyway, continue. Yes.
Yeah, and we're not even gonna talk about how over the years, 'cause just so y'all know, we've been together 10 years, married 7 years. Um, for some reason, it only happens to me, all of my keyboards die, all the numbers and letters come up, and this happens year after year, and I don't know if it's my lotion, but anyway, I'm hard on softwares and technologies and hardware. He'd be like, "What are you doing to these?" And I'm like, "I don't know, babe." Anyway, so he has upgraded my life. He moved me over you all to not only the Mac Mini, but to Claude. So I just want y'all to know that I got upgraded, a double upgrade in one whole weekend. I got upgraded to the Mac Mini and upgraded to Claude, and I did it cold turkey. Right? I did it cold turkey. Now, let me help you understand in case you cannot appreciate the transition from going from like a Windows-based system to a Mac. It is very different. I love my PowerPoint, which is Windows. I love my I was the queen of my Microsoft stuff. I'm pretty nice with it. But now that I'm on the Mac, you got to exit differently. Your stuff downloads in different places, and I think on day 2, I probably just cried. I probably was like so frustrated. Right? I was so frustrated, and on day 2, I almost quit because my old dinosaur is right here, y'all. It's right here like a safety blanket. I looked at the dinosaur and I was like, "You're not gonna quit. You know what? I'm gonna keep on going because in about 30 days, I'm gonna look back and just laugh at myself and say, 'You made it. You're now a'" And guess what? It's almost 30 days later, and I am an official Mac user. I didn't quit. I kept going. I expected it to be hard and challenging. You were very helpful. There were things that I just very frustrated, came and interrupted, said, "Please come in here and help me." And you did, and now we're here. Thank you for upgrading my
Started
life.
from the bottom, now we're here. Yes, yes, as well as the Claude introduction. You know,
Yes.
you are a avid or were an avid, ChatGTP. I always like to say on the end,
Yes.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Um, and we both were, but
Mhm.
I noticed that you really dived in it, because we utilize our tools for different reasons and
Yes.
procedures. And you were there. So, after all of this time, I come to you and I say, "Hey, Anthropic is the new
Yeah.
business." How was that transition for you? Like, far as use, like real story, how would you compare the two?
Oh my god. So let me say this because I think that this probably needs to be said. I am still a user of both actually. I have different reasons why I love Claude more than so let me just say this. I do love and enjoy Claude more than ChatGPT. But I use them in parallel, and I now understand when to use Claude, when to use ChatGPT, and sometimes I play them against each other to see what how I can get the best product. Now, here's what I will say. Claude, some and they I was just saying the other day, they need to pay me money for this phrase. This is a job for Claude. Sometimes something is a and I'm like, "This is a job for Claude." I'll give you an example. I tried to upload a video into my editing software, ScreenPal, right? I know more than I think. I use all type of, like, systems and I'm feeling techie. Anyway, I tried to upload a 2-hour Zoom video into ScreenPal, and ScreenPal was not having any parts of it. It was like, "No, this is 2 hours. This is way too long. This file is too big." And I immediately panicked because I was like, "Oh my god." And then I remembered what you taught me. One thing I love about what you said, because I used to come in your office for everything. See, that's the beauty of having a tech husband is
Mhm.
right, as you call it, tech hub or hub tech,
Hub tech, yes.
hub tech. So now I don't come in your office. Before I come in your office, I ask myself one question. Did you ask Claude?
Mhm.
Claude, so far, there's not been anything Claude has not helped me with. This is big. This is big for me. So when that file situation happened, I got frustrated and I looked like I was getting ready to go to your office. I was like, wait. And I said, Claude, I need to see, can you edit this video down? I need you to get it to 1 hour, 44 minutes is the timestamp that I need the video to play, right? I just need this part of the video. Claude, and then I uploaded the 2 hour video and Claude, and I immediately said, this is a job for Claude. Claude was like, thank you. I'm editing it now. Boom. It literally in seconds gave me my perfect segment of the video. I was now able to upload it into ScreenPal, edit it. Now it's on YouTube. So what I'm saying is, yeah, so Claude has done that. Claude has gone in my system and fixed things. Claude has cleaned up my desktop. So Claude is much more hands-on than ChatGPT. Now, what I like about ChatGPT is I'm an auditory instruction giver. I like to talk. And I like to talk to think. And so I don't always like to type and I know Claude has something new where you but still I'm hooked on my old systems, right? So I like to talk inside of ChatGPT where ChatGPT generates the prompt and then I copy and paste it and put it in the Claude.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. You just made me just really look. So, yes, if you go into the co-work mode of Claude,
Mhm.
if you have the app downloaded, just for the people that's listening,
I do, I
you go into
do.
the co-work mode. It does
Uh-huh.
have a microphone there too where you can click and talk.
Okay.
So a little different than the chat version, and I know I tried so many different things to operate in that same fashion with the chat, and they have so many workarounds and things
Yeah.
that you can do, but it just got aggravating to me, so I didn't even do it. So
Yeah.
I get it, I get it. But with that, so you are utilizing these tools in a very proficient way, and I applaud you
Mhm.
on that. And as well
Thank
as you're
you.
continuously upgrading in knowledge base, I can tell that you don't come and stand behind me as much as you used to do.
Mm-mm.
But let's go into the business mode. We got a couple of
Yeah.
you know, we got some time left. I really want to talk a little bit more about, let's explain to the people what is ProcuraFind, far as from the platform aspect. What can I experience when I log on to procurafind.com? What
Yeah.
am I what's give me the lay of the
The high
land. What's
level,
going
yeah,
on?
yeah. I
Yes.
love that you asked me this. So I'll just put it like this, and this is why I would describe ProcureFind as a SaaS platform because you literally could be successful if you had no human interaction on ProcureFind, right? That's kind of how I define could you go and have an experience and make some things happen. So average user who is not even a member yet goes to procurafind.com and is invited to become a member, right? There's these join the community to become a member. So they click on that, they make a membership decision. What membership level do I want? Let's say that they choose the VIP level where they get maximum visibility, right? They want access to the membership platform and they want us to promote them on social media. And all this happens without ever having a conversation with we had someone last week who became a VIP, for example, and he's been promoted on social media, never had a conversation with him. We can do it all in the background. So person becomes a VIP member within moments. Person is prompted to upload all of their information in our universal business profile, which is really supposed to be a one-stop shop. It collects, are you a product business or a service-based business? What are your categories that you want to be searchable and found as or aligned to? Give us a business summary, which you can use AI, to create a business summary. Upload your business capability statements, upload a one pager, upload your website information. So the universal business profile collects all of the data that will later become viewable in the business directory listing. Once you do that and hit submit, you get all these notifications to your email. Congratulations, you're a new member. Boom, 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 boom. And here's your very next step. You are then invited to go to the monthly calendar where the action happens. So, again, still on the platform, it's the monthly calendar where you can join the welcome call or you can join the onboarding call. So, that's the beginning of your journey, right? Welcome call, onboarding call. But let's say you didn't know that. Let's just say, like, how would a new person know that? An email is automatically prompted that goes to them that says, "Congratulations, you made the best decision. Here are your next steps. Click the monthly calendar to join our welcome call next. Then go to the onboarding discovery call," right? So those are like the first two steps of what we call the new member journey. From there, every third Monday, new members and existing members are invited to what we call Third Mondays members only meetup. This is where all of the members across the US get a chance to meet each other and understand who's in this community. What do you do? Here's what I do. What do you need? Here's what I need. Hey, let's team up. Let's work on an RFP together. Do you know of events in your city, right? We have one of the highest rates of people teaming together where someone from Indiana works with someone from Texas to win a contract. This happens all the time. So that's like the third experience. So I just talked about welcome call is milestone one, onboarding discovery call so we can learn more about your business. Number two, the third Monday's member meetup is number three. And then what happens next is every single month, Dr. DeMario, we are inviting our corporate network to come and pitch their open contracts to our members. So just by being a member, you can learn about new contract opportunities. Every single month, we guarantee this. Like, we're not missing a month. We rolled this out this year. So, like, let's say we had a member last year who was like, "Oh, I didn't have any contract opportunities, blah, 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 blah." I would say we're getting bigger and better and more advanced every single year, right? So lean in, make sure you're staying in touch with what we're doing. Had you been a member already, like let's say you was a member so far in the month of March, you would have learned about how to do business with Savannah State University, Purdue University, and Charlotte Mecklenburg School System, which has over 182 schools. And per school system, one buyer can buy like 5 million per school. And they need all types of things, right? So small businesses, pens, paper, books, uniforms, shoes, like supplies, construction, painters, signage, marketing. People don't realize, but you gotta be in it to win the game, right? You gotta be in the game to win it. You gotta be playing it. And this is where if you're on the outside trying to do it by yourself, you don't have these connections. So again, back to that number one user who so far this user went to the welcome call, onboarding call. I met up with all the members. This is all virtually. And then I invited myself to the contract connections happening this month, right? But let's say, DeMario, that Dr. DeMario, someone is not ready, that they're like, "Ooh, I hear these contracts, but I don't know enough yet. Like, oh, I'm a little bit confused." We have once a month contract clinic where we're teaching them strategies. So if you're not ready, we develop you until you get ready. We also have the corporate contract ready certification where you can self-study. So we have a lot, and it's all self-serve, but it's also human-centered and interactive. That's what we offer.
That's jam packed. That's jam packed. Jam packed with a
And
lot of
that's why I'm so
information. And
tired.
yes, with that, at Skilldor, we had the pleasure of developing the ProcuraFind 2.0 platform,
Yeah.
as well as a lot of other things. And it's still a working scenario as we continuously, as we were just talking about earlier, figuring out how to automate and advance, innovate, and all of those 8 words.
Yeah.
But it's been a world, because the ProcureFind site in itself, it is the probably the most complex platform in my portfolio.
Mhm.
So, I'm always looking at that, what are the competitors doing? What will be your competitive advantage, not just in 2026, 2027 and beyond? What is
Yeah.
those things? And so we always pride ourselves over here on this side of the table to find what is the newest thing
Mhm.
that we can add into one of our portfolio companies, tech stack per
Yeah.
se. And we
Yeah.
call all of our clients, we call them portfolio companies because we become family. We become family. We make sure everything is ticking and tying as much as we can. I
Yeah.
always tell people, I can be aggravating, and you can probably be aggravating to me, but at the end of the day, we want to see you win. That is
Yes.
my motto for 2026,
Has to
wanting
be.
to see you win. But speaking of winning,
Yes.
CorpCon 2026. Let's talk
Yes.
about it.
So, CorpCon is a what we call a national small business supplier summit, right? It is the one time of year where since we're a virtual platform all year long and we're doing most of our things virtual except for some micro events, once a year, and we've been doing this for 4 years, right? Once a year, we invite all of our corporate partners to actually fly out in person, right? To meet on site. And then all of our members and guests, right? To get a ticket, and if you ever wanted to like do business with Lowe's, do business with Charlotte Douglas Airport, do business with the CRVA, do business with Purdue University, right? We invite all of the corporate partners in our entire portfolio to come out, and some corporations who are not partners yet who might be whining and dining the relationship, right? So just think, corporations are there to meet and hopefully buy and do business with small businesses, and then we invite small businesses. And literally, Dr. DeMario, that's how we started. We were doing national supplier summits before we even had a platform. So we're kind of good at it. And so it's one day, it's going to be July 10th in Charlotte, North Carolina, but it is open up to the national public. Is we have people fly in from Connecticut, California, New York, Tennessee, Indiana. Again, it's where all of our members actually get to meet each other too, not just online, but in person now, right? So it's really like one big fanfare. It's a bunch of fun. It starts off with the breakfast mix and mingle. We've got some workshops and breakout rooms that happen. Then we transition into the main program, a great sit down lunch, keynote speaker, panel discussions from AI experts like yourself, legal team, corporate buyers who are going to talk about who they choose and how they select the businesses to do business with. And then it ends with an actual matchmaker at the end where people who got the ultra access pass are invited to stay and actually pitch in real time to companies. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great time. And of course, there are parties just like the Oscars, right? That people are putting together parties and dinners and socials all around the event. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll drop the link, in the copy somewhere.
Oh, most
CorpCon.
definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely.
So
CorpCon, and you said that the I can get the ultra. What is that? You said
ultra access pass. We used to
the
call it the
ultra.
VIP pass.
Yes,
But let me
that's
tell you why we don't call it VIP no more, because we actually have a VIP level membership, and we literally have people who would show up, be like, "I'm VIP." no, 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 you're a VIP member, but you're not a VIP attendee today, right? So just to make sure, yeah,
Yes, yes. Let's read the instructions on the back of the
yes,
cereal box.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Y'all, I know that flew over everybody's head.
no,
But
I got it.
yes, I'm telling you, that is so crazy. And there's so much more that we could dive into.
Mhm.
And thank you all for staying with us this long. And
Yes,
listening to it. Some powerful information, and I really feel like you are getting some nuggets out of it. I know my brain is turning right now. It's
yes,
turning because every time that you speak with someone, you never know what they're going to say. And there's always those little tidbit, those little things that you say, we call those the aha moments, the light bulbs
yeah,
over their heads. You have said a lot of that today when it comes to small business owners moving through this landscape of today.
yeah, thank
It's not a secret that I tell everybody that I talk to. I say I'm so concerned.
yeah,
I don't even know why I'm so concerned,
yeah,
but it's a pressure inside of me that's saying, hey, this is where we are today. This is what the picture looks like today. Just like
mhm.
when you was talking about CorpCon, I was like, man, yes, I am speaking at CorpCon,
Yes,
but
you are.
I can't tell you today what I will be talking about in July.
No,
That is where we're at.
that's
I
right.
really can't tell you today. I can give you a snapshot and hope I'm talking about this particular thing, but we
Mhm.
have no idea what the climate is going to look like in July. So
That's
therefore,
right.
we need to stay close to the campfire and continuously help each other build and grow the entrepreneurship journeys, because small businesses make up the majority of businesses in the country. I'm
That's
telling you.
right. That's
You
right.
better get on it. Don't quit.
Don't
Don't
quit,
quit.
please don't. Yeah.
Don't
Go
quit.
to
You need to
Procure and
join
Find.
organization. I was just about to say the same thing. Go
Sorry.
join organizations like ProcuraFind. And at the end of the day, you remember what we was talking about in the beginning? I'm talking to the people right now. When we were talking about in the beginning that you need to invest
Mm,
into your business, because now you are the first employee, you the
yeah,
CEO that's responsible for the employees getting the training in order to stay competitive in the market.
yeah.
Well, this is one of the things that you might want to really consider, as well as let me tell y'all something. I do paperwork all the time, handle some books on some businesses. Do you realize that you can actually write this off? This is a tax deductible
Tell
expense.
them.
Anytime you're investing in yourself to improve your business, getting that money back.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I'm gonna get off my soapbox theory, as I call you on the ending here.
Yes.
But I really appreciate you
Yeah,
taking time to jump on Talking Techish and share your insight,
yeah,
because we like hearing from you simply because you have a just a bigger sitting on a podium overview of a lot of small businesses because they are inside of your network.
yeah, yeah,
Over here at Skilldora, we one to one on things. We don't have a
yeah,
purview of a visual of what are people saying, what are they experiencing.
yeah.
And now I just want to say this part too.
Mhm.
And I don't know why I'm being led to just say this right here. If you are a
Yeah.
small business owner and you are really finding yourself struggling right now, don't struggle in silence.
Yeah, that's
Don't
good.
be vocal, because you don't know who's around you and what organizations are around you that can help you survive, to help you win. Don't
That's right.
struggle in silence. Now, I'm not talking to the ones that want to just get over just because they don't want to invest in either money or that time. But I'm talking about, like, if you've been out here for, you've been rocking for a couple of years and things have changed. We
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah,
Things have changed. Your market might be totally gone
yeah, yeah.
and you might need some help. So just tap into, resources, ProcuraFind and things like that. And if you are into AI, just come on over to Skilldora. And
Come
I'm
on
not
over to
asking you for
Skilldoor.
anything. You can go to skilldora.com/DIY. You can find some do-it-yourself processes that might can just help you, because we just want to see you.
And that's myskilldora.com.
Oh, did I just say skilldora.com?
Yep.
Well, you know what? Thank you for correcting me, because that is a my Skilldora. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in the background I got skilldora.com locked down where it still routes you to the same place.
I know that's
So
right.
so that's how we're gonna do this. But anyway, Thank you, Dr. Don Nicole from
Thank you.
ProcuraFind, CEO of ProcuraFind, celebrating your third year in
Woo!
business. This is actually going into your fourth year now. Um,
August will be the 3rd, the official year
oh,
3
okay,
once we hit
okay,
August.
okay.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
great. Thank you for still being here.
Thank
That's
you.
how we celebrate each other. There isn't an award show for small business owners. I'm
I know,
telling you,
right? Yeah,
so therefore we just have to tap in and tap each other on the back when we can.
that's right.
Therefore, this has been another great episode of Talking Techish with Dr. DeMario. And we like to once again thank our guest, Dr. Don Nicole from
Thank you,
ProcuraFind. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
and thank you for having me. Thank you.